Hey, good morning from TechCell. Nick Lehman here. Just wanted to walk you through some setup of a GTM system. I've had some folks that have been inquiring about it, and we wanted to just walk you through sort of how to set the system up, and we'll talk through some software at a later date. I just wanted a bit of shout out to the folks that keep us going. The Lily Pad, just up the road, providing us with our caffeination, our little cups of liquid gold. Shout out to Richard and the team up there, so thank you very much. We'll get stuck into this. I've cheated a little bit, so I've unpacked this thing and sort of set it up. So this is our tripod, so this is part of our standard inclusion. It's going to help us out in terms of getting our height right for our blast lights when we're doing blast monitoring. So I'll walk through our little GTM system here. I'll give you a bit of a close-up on it. You can sort of see there. We have a few sort of things happening there with the little tactile screens. I'll flick this open. We've got a sort of a pretty hard, robust Pelican case that it sits within. You'll notice some sort of things there. You'll notice our PC port, our DC power, our on-off buttons, enter and back. You'll see an asset number there, 4424, a little light just above our enter, which is sort of useful to tell us when it's on and what's happening with the system. And then you'll see some toggles, which is useful for wanting to walk through the system locally. So that's something we can do. I'll close this back up and set it down. We'll kick it on a bit later. I'll walk through a couple other things. Not a mains power kit sitting in this one, but there are a couple things here that are kind of important. One of them is if you're going to locally download this, just a mini USB to USB, there'll be some software that we'll send to you via link or in a USB kit or USB key as part of the kit. Here's your microphone. So if we're doing air, blast, overpressure, your sock, microphone sock, and your microphone. Now you'll notice numbers. So that 4424, it should correspond with the microphone and also our next little thing here, our geophone. You'll see the connection cable that we have here, nice solid mil-spec connector, about 2.5 roughly meters worth of cable, which we can do that a range of different ways and range of different lengths. And then just a standard sort of ground mount geophone. You'll notice on the end of that we've got the number that will correspond with the unit, which is calibrated to. You'll also notice that there's a directionality associated with this one, this is just to help us if we're shooting, say, in that direction, so where you're coming from. If there's a shot happening there or a vibration source there, we want it facing that source ideally and as level on a solid surface as possible. You'll notice these pointy things here. Those are our spikes. They've got screws and things which you'll attach them to here. And if you need to mount that in ground, it's not perfect, but it's you want a nice solid contact. You want to stamp on it with a big solid, I guess, body like me or some whatever you have on site. So you want to give it a bit of force, and that'll help on your sort of natural ground setup. Utopia has it with a nice concrete surface. It could be, if you're pouring them in situ, it could be a 300 by 300 sort of cube. That'll give you good, firm, solid contact and some consistency in terms of where that location is, and pretty easy in terms of mounting that. So a lot of the semi-permanent or permanent stations will have things set up that way. But if you're mobilizing in different sorts of places and you have a multitude of points that you may monitor at irregularly, you can do the same sort of thing. It just makes the process a whole lot easier. So what I'll do is I'll go about setting this up now. So I've spoken a little bit to that. I'll start with getting a monitor set up. So I'll grab this little animal and we'll put it on top of the tripod. You notice a little screw. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. Bit of a shout out to Dad there. Thanks for that tip. Growing up on a farm, you sort of get a few like that. So that's one that's stuck a bit. Now, we've got a couple connectors here on the end. They're pretty straightforward. You can notice the microphone there, and the geophone connector is going to be back here. So I'll go about attaching the microphone. They're relatively dainty, so you don't want to horse on it too much. You'll notice the connector on the end of that's a bit of a C. You'll notice there'll be a corresponding gap on the side. Pretty straightforward, but just a nice, gentle hand tight. Screw that microphone there. Windsock on, like so. Now we're going to go to the geophone. I'm I'm going to place it down here in between the system for now. Should be fun. We'll probably want to have a bit of a look around site and just see if there's any sources of vibration. So if we're near any roads or any activities that may generate ground vibration or air overpressure, so we've got a windy day like that, it's good to note those things because those things will certainly have an impact on our recording. These systems can record in continuous mode, so just point data every minute, every second, every 5 minute, every 15 minute, whatever interval you select, or you can do it just in a single shot mode, which just gathers a wave over a preset threshold. So that's something, it's pretty cool. So advocate for doing both of those. So recording in what we call continuous mode and trigger mode, so over a set threshold. So for the shot fires out there, they'll probably have a pretty good idea of what they're getting themselves into in terms of likely air overpressure and likely ground vibration. So you'd set it beneath that and gather that data. So we'll go about, I guess, walking through this. So the big red button, we'll turn it on. Now it'll come up and start flashing some things. And then all I'm really going to do here is walk through a brief self-test, and then I'm just going to utilize the enter key and press it. It'll be flashing over duty, and then it'll count down. So on the screen, it'll start to count down, and then you'll notice here shortly, and how well we can see that, flashing. So you can see the little light flashing. That's telling us it's on. And depending on the interval it's set to, typically if it exceeds or it's recording a set interval, we'll hear a little noise. So that'll provide us with an understanding of that thing's happening. You'll notice it also monitoring whilst we're standing with the unit, so you'll notice it recording. And if I go and stomp near that, then I'll see that it's active. So that's sort of us done. So fundamentally, that's the setup. In terms of demo, it's pretty straightforward. It doesn't really need a lot of romance, and you can just turn it down, take it off, and away we go. So hopefully that's a bit helpful. Any questions, just sing out to us. Thank you very much, and bye for now.